Let me tell you first what this is before I tell you why it's important. Emotional intelligence, though people are not able to use the words many times, but I want you to know the words, is what is commonly referred to as street smarts. And yes, but I want to be very honest and I want you to hear me on this. Not everybody that thinks they have street smarts has this. This is really what it comes down to. This, if we had to break this down to what you call layman's terms, book smarts, street smarts. Street smarts, book smarts. A lot of people may have grown up in the street, so to speak, but they don't have this. Because I'm going to explain to you what this really is. This is what they're finding more than ever now. If you had to say which one was a better indicator of how well people would do in life, it's this one. Let me give you some empirical data. Yeah, I want you to. There's a book called Working with Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman. A very powerful book. I encourage you to read it.
Working with
Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman. He studied behavioral and brain sciences at the New York Times for 12 years. So he did a lot of studies. This was what, so there's a lot of stuff I can tell you, but this right here I think encapsulates it. This is what he found in his book, based on this study. They looked at 181 different positions, all types of positions, everything from the highest level director down to low-level staff, line staff as you call it, 180 different positions across 120 different companies worldwide. This is what they found. When looking at which set of skills allow a person to move up in the company and to be what they call a star performer, 67% of the time, this was more important. This was more important than this.
Why so?
A number of reasons. Because emotional intelligence is your ability, it's your ability to understand people. You know, you have some people that I'm telling you, they're here and I've met some people, autism on some levels, or what they call autism. Some people that have autism, which are severe levels of autism, people who may not even be able to hold a conversation with you and I. But their IQ is literally out of this world. Now, everybody has a gift, everybody has a place in this world. But is that person effectively able to lead a company? Probably not. Because to lead a company, part of it is what? Communication. You gotta be able to relate to people. So what they found is this made more of the difference. I'm gonna break down for you what emotional intelligence is or what are the skill sets in it. But I want you to understand the difference. This is what makes great leaders, right here. It's not so much this. You want some of this. You need some of this. It is important to work on this. I'm not saying throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm not saying now we don't go to school, we don't build ourselves academically because we should. But this is where the star performers are made. The ability to go in a team and work with people. The ability to notice, wait a minute, this person is ticked off when I do this, so I won't do this. This person likes when I do this, so I know how to do this. Go ahead. Really, if you have to put this into one, it's the ability to be able to understand and ascertain people.
Absolutely.
Not everybody has this. And I don't want somebody to think, and that's why I don't like when people think that just because they grew up in a certain way that they have it. Because you may not. You may not. You could have had a life of hardship and still not notice. Because you still got people in your life that are leeching and sucking off you. You still haven't figured it out.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, some people will call it street smarts, but people play off your emotions, so a lot of people was led astray thinking they're street smart, but you was led down in the pits in the dark. So you wasn't smart for following that.
You definitely weren't. Is it something that you learned?
I think it's both.
It could be both. That's the
I think it's something you develop over time.
It could be both. Some people are born and they just have, so let's write down first. When we talk about emotional intelligence, what are we talking about? All right. Empathy is the biggest trait of emotional intelligence.
So we
empathy. I want you to know what it is, yes.
Emotional intelligence.
Empathy. That's the biggest, this is what they have found. That's the biggest skill set or trait, characteristic of emotional intelligence. Because that's the next point. People say, well, how do you read people? Empathy. Empathy. It's the ability to be able to stand in someone else's shoes. People who are great and successful leaders have the ability to understand you. How is it? And see, and I'm going to tell you a secret here. Well, it's not really a secret, but I'll tell you a tidbit. Someone does not have to have your background to be able, on some level, to relate to you. Yes, I understand that to relate fully to somebody, you probably have to go through what they went through. But if you think about it, everybody's experience is different. Even if we could have grown up in the same house together. And for those of you that have siblings, I'm sure that if you're honest, you have, I don't say issues, but you and your siblings, you know, they saw a parent one way, you saw a parent another way, both in the same house. So but when we're talking generally here, a person doesn't necessarily, this is strong emotional intelligence, I want you to get this, doesn't necessarily have to look like you or have your background to understand you. That's what made the Kennedys great. How is it that the Kennedys, it's one of the things, even you take the Roosevelts, who were born into great wealth, but yet they passed these policies that were geared toward the working class man and the impoverished. What does a person who was born with a trust fund and whose parents have an extraordinary amount of wealth, how can they understand somebody that can't feed themselves in a soup line? You know, it used to be a saying that in every black person's house there were 3 pictures. What were the 3 pictures?
One of Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King, Malcolm X.
Nope, John Kennedy.
John Kennedy.
John Kennedy.
Absolutely.
And you have to wonder, what does John Kennedy, you have to remember, this is a man that was, you want to talk about born in the lap of luxury, blue-blooded,
right.
white man.
Right.
Well, I mean, he wasn't blue-blooded, he was Irish, but you get the point. How is it that he made black people and brown people,
right, how you understood poverty?
how was it that he got them to believe?
Right.
Forget it whether he thought it or not.
Right.
The fact that there were the masses that believed, oh, he speaks for me. Because he had the ability to make you feel like, I understand you.
Yeah.
You see me? That's emotional intelligence.
I got you.
When you get people that don't share your background, you see what I mean? That's powerful.
Yeah, that goes back to what you're
I don't have to look like you to connect with you. That's strong emotional intelligence. This is how you can really start to see what people are. And so we get into empathy. So I want to go a little further down into it. One of the ways to boost emotional intelligence is to get around people who don't think like you and don't look like you. I can tell how emotionally intelligent a person is, partly based on the people that they continuously surround themselves with. If everybody looks the same, talks the same, come from the same background, chances are you haven't even had the ability to flex that muscle.
I got you.
Because part of empathy is I have to step outside of myself. I told you I'm from Baltimore City. If everybody I know from Baltimore City, I don't really have to step that far out of myself. But the moment that I left at 13 years old and moved to Virginia, where now I'm living in a trailer park where there were Confederate flags being flown and people walking around barefooted, and a few of the people were calling me a nigger. I don't know how, I'm a nigger, but you barefooted. That's a whole nother thing. But I had to learn quickly how to identify them.
That's a part of it.
I had to learn how to switch because now my environment completely changed. And so part of it does come with empathy. And I am one of those people, not to go too far with this, but I remember I got into a conversation and somebody got extremely upset. There was a situation that happened when I was at Harvard, and this was not a common situation. I don't want to make it seem like it was. It was not a common situation. But there was an incident where a young lady made some comments about black people really need to go home and wherever home is, but shouldn't be in this country.
Africa.
Something like that. And I said, and people got upset with me because I said that I did not believe necessarily made her racist. And it's just my opinion with that, but I was making the point of having now left from Baltimore City and lived in that trailer park in Virginia. I met people who I thought said things that certainly were insensitive, but I can't necessarily go that far and say say racist. You see me? And that's based on my empathy because I can see from that person's point of view. I disagree, but I can see how you can make that statement, but yet not having your heart racial hatred.